Breaking news, a cargo jet crashes, shattering into pieces in Trinity Bay. The FBI tells us human remains have been found. Here's a closer look at what's left of the tail of that plane. That's the Amazon logo. The plane was owned by Atlas Air and being used by Amazon. To give you an idea of where this is, the Trinity Bay is 50 miles east of Houston. The crash happened in Chambers County near Anahuac on the far side of the water. We've been tracking this since it happened just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. We have a team coverage at the scene with the latest on what we know and how ordinary people stepped in to help in the aftermath. We start with Janelle Bluda. Janelle.
Ron, there's still a lot of unanswered questions out here. Now, the sheriff says witnesses described that plane as flying very low and then taking a nosedive into the bay with a huge plume of water. Now, all of that is about a mile away from here. Now, the newest information, as you said, is the sheriff just announced that they have found human remains, but at this point, he will not confirm how many fatalities that is. They believe there were 3 people on board, but he says they want to be absolutely certain. Now, as you can see from this video, there is not much left of that plane. What we have learned from FAA is the plane was a Boeing 767, a cargo aircraft that was coming from Miami to Houston. It was only about 30 miles away from its destination when something happened. Something went wrong. They say they lost radar and radio frequency with the plane, and that's when the FAA sent an alert to Atlas Air, who is the operator of the plane.
We have not found any of the black boxes yet. We do expect that they should be able to be recovered. I told you that I did not expect that there was anybody that could survive the aircraft accident. And as of now, we have found some human remains.
Well, along with Chambers County Sheriff's Department, so many agencies are out here investigating, including the FBI and the NTSB. They will be out here tomorrow morning starting their investigation. Now, we're told all the crews who have been out on the water have been leaving the debris where they is. They're finding the debris, but they're leaving it exactly where it is because the NTSB is going to come in tomorrow and they're going to start their investigation. But what they're doing is they're setting up buoys around the area to keep it from drifting anywhere and trying to keep that area contained so the NTSB doesn't have any issues tomorrow. Ron?
All right, thank you so much, Janelle Bluda. Now let's turn over to Matt Doherty, who's been speaking to the first responders. Matt.
Yeah, these guys said they were at home outside when they heard that plane coming down. They looked up into the sky and saw it just above the treetops, and they saw it go down below the trees, and then they heard that loud crash. They almost immediately went and got into their boats as quickly as they could. They say once they got about a mile from the water, they began to see some of the debris.
I mean, there's not much of a plane left to tell that it was actually an airplane. Just packages, clothes, shoes, this stuff floating everywhere. Backpacks, you name it, it was floating.
Now, these men are boat mechanics and were awarded for the hundreds of local rescues they performed during Hurricane Harvey. They were discouraged. There was nothing they could do to help today. They say the marsh was so shallow and soft, the plane was just essentially swallowed by all of that mud. One other point that's worthy of making is something that these guys said. They said it's just almost miraculous that this plane actually crashed into the water as opposed to some residential areas. From where we stand right now, we're only about a mile from the center of town. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Matt Doherty. And now we have a statement from Amazon on the plane crash. Our thoughts and prayers are with the flight crew, their families and friends, along with the entire team at Atlas Air. During this terrible tragedy, we appreciate the first responders who worked urgently to provide support. Now, deputies will be out on the lake for weeks trying to learn more about this crash. We'll track this developing story online throughout the evening. Check our Facebook page, khou.com, and the KHOU app.